The autism groups have done a wonderful job of organizing and lobbying and letting the legislature know about the issue, and I think it's been a lot less organized with the fetal alcohol families. There are a lot of parents now, though. I think we're kind of on the edge of that because there are some parents who are taking classes through MOFAS and other organizations who are saying, let's do something about this. And that's very exciting to see because I think that's what's going to make the difference in the system.
I got a lot out of the support group that I had gone to with Nancy, because at first I didn't, because all of them were adopted parents, and I felt guilty because I was the birth one and caused the fetal alcohol, but after hearing all their stories, it sounded just like Dominic. I mean, I could relate to all of their stories.
Reach out to more friends than you think you need. And, you know, I'm not afraid to talk about my feelings. You really need to. And get therapy if you need it. If you don't. If you're feeling sad and you're just frustrated.
They've got a huge task ahead of them in terms of supporting these kids and finding help for them in the system, so that if there's a group available, or if they're going to form a group, to do whatever they can to pool together to find babysitters and transportation and whatever it takes to get together for an hour a week or whatever it takes just to find that support.
We had some rocky times there where we were not on the same page with parenting, and we ended up going through marital counseling and family counseling, and I highly recommend it for everyone.
Counseling is one of the main supports out there, and that's supportive if the counselors understand what it is your child's needs are.
It's very nice to have a professional who can give you guidance and help you with services that understands these kids and doesn't look at you like you are a very poor parent that just doesn't know what you're doing and judging you on it.
Then the counselor through Thunder Spirit has come into our home and counseled my daughter, and we've seen huge changes and improvements in her self-image just by hearing from this neutral person outside of the family that it's not her fault.
We provide an array of services that are more intervention-based.
They understand. They work with these kids on a daily basis.
We work on things. We talk about drugs. We talk about alcohol. We talk about, in the high school groups, sex. How do we prevent that? What is that? They're very vulnerable groups of people, and they kind of get sucked into things. So we really honestly discuss it in their terms, not mine, but their terms.
Our son is able to go to the group on Monday evening and learn about his disability from someone other than his parents, someone who really understands him.
It was the only place I've ever taken my daughter where she felt like they accepted her for who she was.
And we really talk with them and help them understand that they do have choices. They do have choices in careers. A lot of kids are told they can't go anywhere and they can't do anything. We help them struggles with their mom and dads. How do you talk to your mom and dads? Then we talk to the mom and dads. How do you talk to your kids?
This lady had the answers for me, and I didn't feel alone anymore. It's so important to have these places for parents.
Thunder Spirit is a place where my husband goes to a Monday evening support group. I go to a Tuesday morning support group. We get to talk with other parents who have kids like ours.
Men do not ask for support from other men. And I made my husband go to the men's night out events. He did not want to go. He's like, what are we supposed to do? I don't know any of these people. I don't want to talk to anybody about our problems. I said, don't, just go watch the game, whatever. And once he went, he found a support group there, and he found a bunch of other guys that felt just the way he did. And now he's just like, when are you going to book the next men's night out? You know. And he's finally found the support that he needs.
No, there's not enough services. Frankly, we're the only ones that do that. And it's frustrating, but it has to do with money. But we just keep doing it.
This is brain damage that's 100% preventable. These kids do not have to be born this way.
We've known about alcoholism for hundreds of years. We've known about its devastation. We've known about its effects. And still in our society, we are choosing to turn the other cheek.
We always say drugs and alcohol. Alcohol's a drug. It's right up there with meth.
There's been studies done that kids that are born addicted to crack cocaine or addicted to cocaine or heroin, their brains will develop normally. You know, they might have some neurological damage, but they will not have any brain damage.
There's no safe amount. One small glass of wine could produce a person like my daughter that's full-blown fetal alcohol syndrome. You just don't know. It's playing Russian roulette with a child's life.
I think that drinking during pregnancy is a cry for help, and that's our job, is to find out what are the issues, how can we help this woman and give her all the support possible.
Majority of women who are using to cover up a hurt. And let's find a little bit more positive way to figure out their needs. Incarceration isn't going to do it. I've yet to see a whole lot of effective uses for incarceration. I would like to see them in treatment. I would like to see them in residential treatment and for a longer period of time, and then a longer aftercare program.
Give them some services so that, you know, these kids have a chance, as opposed to just letting them, you know, use all through their whole pregnancy.
The public can help by being aware of this and helping women not to drink. I think that when they see women who are pregnant and drinking, they can remind them in a respectful, caring way that drinking can cause harm on a newborn baby.
If you're planning on being pregnant, stop drinking 6 months before. Plan the pregnancy.
I think that bartenders should be able to say no to pregnant women, again, in a respectful way. This is a clear issue of a woman's causing harm by drinking, and that bartender can teach the woman, and he or she can stand by principles to not want her to harm that baby. And it'll be a wonderful example in the community to have bartenders do that.
These children are all of our problems. They will affect all of us in society if we don't get them some interventions and try to prevent further effects as they're here on our earth.
If there was a way to make it a requirement that physicians and clinics all do alcohol screening during pregnancy, and that they're required to report that they're doing it, and that they're required to do these things that we've been talking about for prevention and support for the women, it would make a huge impact on women drinking during pregnancy. I think now there's probably a handful of clinics in the entire state of Minnesota, and I have no idea how many in the nation, that are actually screening regularly for pregnant women. And there's no real excuse for that. And it can make a huge difference. So that would be, doesn't sound very dramatic, but it is something that would make a big impact.
I had the wonderful opportunity of watching these kids grow in ways that I don't think they knew they were. That blesses me. That blesses my staff.
I don't know where I'd be without them. Truthfully, my life would not be any better than what it is now. With the word I can describe having these kids, it's very bittersweet. Very bittersweet. But I wouldn't trade my life for anything.
Everything. I love everything about him. Even when he's naughty, I love everything about him. But the thing that I love most about him is that I'm starting to see a lot of his growth.
Watching them achieve a goal or achieve a self-control skill that they didn't have before, and then watching it click inside their eyes and you can see they get it, that's a real rewarding thing. And also knowing that possibly if they had stayed in their birth situation and if things had stayed the same with that birth parent, you can kind of imagine how it would have been so much harder for them to stay out of legal trouble or to even stay alive.
So I'm very passionate about trying to get these kids identified very early, knowing that this baby that we're seeing now was exposed, so that we can try and get assessments early, try and get screening done early, try and get services for them early so they don't go through years of that. Trying to get that disability recognized and treated as early as possible.
You can't fix brain damage. You have to work around it. You have to accept it. You have to build on their strengths, not their weaknesses, because it doesn't go away.
My advice would be to educate yourself and not give up, and to know that you are the best advocate for your child that they're ever going to have, and you got to be there for them, and to know that there are services available. There are other people going through what you're going through, but you will need to take the steps to access that.